it's Jamie.
Hi, and Gemma.
From Play to Learn Preschool. Happy Friday!
Yay!
We, in the United States, are headed into a 3-day weekend.
Yay.
So, if you are down in Florida or Georgia, I just want to say before we start, we're thinking about you guys. Stay safe and stay dry, and check in with us and let us know that you're doing okay. All right, so today, this Friday, we are going to talk a little bit about some things you will not find in our classroom. We're excited because on Monday, we have invited you to join us for a full, all-access, almost, except for the storage closet.
We're not ready for that.
We're not ready for that. It's not Facebook ready. Anyway, we're inviting you for
It's not
full...
anything ready.
It's not anything. It's not even really ready for us to see it. Anyway, we're inviting you for a full access tour of our preschool. We will be on live on Monday, October 10th at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And we would love for you to join us live if you also have a long weekend, or if not, if you can just join us. We would love to show you the entire layout of our classroom. So, thinking about that, having you guys come on Monday, we wanted to spend this afternoon talking about 3 things that you will not see because they don't happen in our classroom. So this is a judgment-free zone. These things you might have in your classroom, and we think
That's okay.
it's totally fine with us, but we wanted to give you the heads up that you won't see them in the tour on our classroom. So here they are. We made those backwards signs so it would appear
Jamie
correct.
is so smart.
So it would appear correctly
Okay,
on the
ready?
screen. Number 1. We don't have a computer center.
Nope.
We used to have a computer center from about 2005 to 2012. We did have a computer center at the very beginning. Do you remember it was those like old iMacs? They were like these, they were the new Macs in '99, but they were like these big,
Oh, yeah, I do.
you remember they're all different colors?
Yeah.
And we would let the kids play letter games and number games on them. They didn't have the internet.
No, we have never had the internet on them.
Those laptops we did, I think.
Really?
Yes, so we had those for like 3 or 4 years, and then we traded them in for some really slick laptops. And they had the same like DVDs, and we let the kids play letter games and counting games. But then in 2012, we made a bold decision or a decision to eliminate the computer center as one of our options. So Gemma's going to tell you a little bit about something that happened right before we decided to do that.
So we decided we were going to play a board game, which doesn't seem that out of place at school. So I set the game up, and they had to roll the dice. This was the big eye-opener for me. So I'm rolling the dice, showing them how to roll the dice. And I had 1 or 2 children try and push the dice with their finger. He was trying to push it. He couldn't.
Like he was on an
He couldn't
iPad.
roll it. It was like he was on an iPad. And I said, you have to pick up the dice and roll it. And that turned into the game, basically, teaching them how to roll the dice, because all they could do is push it with their finger.
We noticed it in a couple of other situations as well. For example, they were really struggling in 2005 to 2012. We didn't notice it as much. They'd come to preschool with a pretty good pincher grasp, and then all of a sudden we noticed in about 2011, 2012 that pincher grasp was disappearing, and they were trying to write with their fingers like they were on an iPad or a screen. And we also noticed that hi everybody, oh, it's fun to see people we know. And then we also noticed that our students would arrive to school in the morning, a lot of them on a screen in the back seat of their car, or they'd have the headphones on watching a movie in their car, and they were driving, 5 minutes to come to preschool, and they were already tuned in. They were listening to a movie, or they were playing on their parents' phone in the car, and then we'd get them, and it would take a little while for them to almost like warm up and start talking in the morning, like they were in this zone.
To us and to each other.
Yeah, and we also noticed the last year that we had the computer center that we had kids and that's all they would do. That's the only time we saw them interact with each other, or the only time we really saw them get animated, and excited. And we thought, let's see what happens if we
Took them away.
if we just take them away. And it was the best decision ever.
Because when we started in 2005, having a computer in your home was really not the commonplace thing.
Certainly
We
not
had
in your car.
computers,
Not in the
but
car.
it was more that adults used them as opposed to the kids. So it was a very unique experience for the children to be able to use the computers. But now they have so many computers, so many iPads, iPhones, everything, everywhere.
In the car,
We decided
at their
that
house.
this
and-
is the
yeah.
place with no screens.
No screens.
No TV, no.
Just in general, we try to set up our environment to meet their needs. And we found that they didn't need that extra time on the screen. We only have them for 3 or 4 hours a day, and they didn't need it. And so that was the basics of our decision. Now, we should say, we're not anti-technology.
No, not at all.
We're on Facebook Live with you on our iPhone and checking it on our laptop next to us. We have an iPod that we use for music. We take photos. We let them show us when they're ready to take photos. We use lots of technology to communicate with the parents and social media, obviously. But for the students, for our 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds, that is not what they need when they're with us for 3 or 4 hours in the morning.
And they don't miss it, and they don't ask.
They don't ask for it. We don't have a TV either, so we don't show any movies or anything like that. We just don't have time. We want them to be touching Play-Doh, touching blocks, taking
Getting
care of
messy.
babies, getting messy with paint, not just drawing on the iPad with a paint app. We want them to be touching the paint. We want them to be talking to each other. We want them to be sharing supplies
And
and
negotiating with each other when they would like something. or they
making
want to
eye
have
contact. So somebody asked how we assess technology. We don't. That's not a thing. It's not a public preschool, so we don't have any technology expectations. And in my opinion, they're not behind when they go to kindergarten. They all still know how to download apps from the App Store. All right, so that's the first thing you're not going to see on the tour. We don't have a TV and we don't have computers. We're not anti-technology. We like technology.
We do.
But it's not what our students need.
Okay, ready for the next one?
Number two. Worksheets. So listen, again, this is a judgment-free zone. If you do them, maybe that's what you think is best for your students. But we know our students, it's not what's best for them. They need, before they can write on a worksheet, to work on their hand strength using Play-Doh and clothespins and tongs. They need to work on their language, their oral language, their their receptive language. They do not need to sit and do worksheets.
When they go to kindergarten,
They'll be fine.
they'll be doing them in kindergarten.
Yeah. We do have them practice writing their names. We do teach letters and numbers, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in another video because it's a little bit more meaty. We do those folder games.
Yes.
We shared those, I don't know, a week or so
weeks
ago.
ago,
So they're getting kindergarten readiness skills, and they're building the foundation to be successful when they do have to do paper and pencil things. But doing it earlier is not necessarily doing it better. And doing worksheets at age 3 or age 4, it's not the best way for them to spend their time. And like we said earlier, we only have them for 3.5 or 4 hours. And I would rather them be up to their elbows in paint or oobleck or slime, or working together at the sensory table, or building something and measuring it in the block area. Their time is better spent playing and learning than sitting and doing worksheets. So you're not going to see them in our classroom. Not a judgment. It's no judgment on you, but
writing.
they do write.
They do. We do write. It's every sentence we've explained in a different video. They can write whenever they want to.
We have markers and crayons and pencils and paper and Magnadoodles. We have, we don't do any coloring sheets. No, sorry. We've got art projects set up for them, and we'll talk about that on another day. We have whiteboards and write and wipe. What do you call those? Like we put stuff in dry erase, like sleeves.
The clear protective sheets.
Oh, my mom is on. Hey, that's exciting. Hi, Mom.
Hey.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Oh, fun. If Jebba's mom joins too.
Hi, Mom.
That's gonna
And
be
Dad,
so exciting.
he always feels bad. I never say hi to him.
He
Hi,
doesn't
Dad.
have a Facebook.
No,
account.
he does.
Oh, but he's on your mom.
He's normally.
Anyway, so you won't find any worksheets. We just think that their time is better spent doing other activities, that we can meet those needs in ways that are more developmentally appropriate.
Ready for number
All right, we're a little
3?
nervous about number 3. Here's the truth of number 3. We're gonna show you our classroom on Monday, and you are not gonna see perfection. Listen, we're not perfect, really. We've got piles of stuff that we can't find places to put away. Gemma tries to find places and I just make more piles. We've got labels that are seriously 12 years old because I've just not gotten around to relabeling things.
And sometimes when we do a project, it doesn't work.
So we've got ugly artwork, ugly projects. We've got areas where I think, that needs a little bit more to it. We need to add something that's not working well, and we just haven't gotten to it yet. I'm a little nervous about the tour on Monday. I'm gonna go ahead and say this. Are you nervous? No. Here's why I'm nervous. Because I feel like by putting ourselves out here on Facebook Live with you, but even by having the website and by sharing my resources, I feel like sometimes people think that our way is the only way, and it's not. It's not. This is the way that works for us. I'm excited to share it with other teachers because I feel like we can all learn from each other, but I worry that by showing you my whole classroom that you are going to feel like that's the only correct way, or that the way that I've done it is exactly the perfect way.
And there are many times that we have tried to do something over the years and it hasn't worked. And so we tried something different and that hasn't worked either. So
we do a lot of stuff that doesn't work.
Like moving the clock.
We're still staring at the blank wall for our clock.
Anyway.
But seriously, even things with our students. We had a science center last week that was a total disaster. It was a mess of a disaster. And so you're not gonna see perfection on Monday. So if you're looking for perfection, please don't tune in, because it's not. It's just a real working classroom with two human teachers.
We sometimes have bad days.
Who have bad days.
Hopefully not on the same day.
We try to take turns.
We take turns of having a bad day or being tired.
We played rock, paper, scissors this morning.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's not perfect. And so I hope that when you do join us for the tour on Monday, that you come to it with the eyes and the understanding that this is just our real classroom. We do the best we can for our students, but it's not the only way. I'm sure lots of you out there have better ways to do things. And so I hope that you'll come to it with that.
Let's hope so. I'm more nervous about being on the video.
She's more nervous about technically figuring out how to do the video and show everything, and I'm all like
being on it.
Oh, being on it. And I'm all like, what if they see that pile of junk we have in the corner? Or what if they notice that some of those signs don't match my other signs? So we're honest, we're human, and we'll be here to share all of that with you Monday the 10th at 1 o'clock.
It's gonna be exciting.
We're nervous. Be kind to us. All right, that's all. I hope you have a great Friday afternoon.
Oh, we have to ask them if you have any questions or things that you would like to particularly see on Monday when we show you around our classroom, which areas you really would like to see.
We've been keeping a list. So in the video comments, a lot of people have said, can you show us how you do artwork, or can you show us where you store the morning work? Can you show us where you keep your math manipulatives? And so we'll show you all of those things on Monday. We've been keeping a list, but if you have other things specifically that you'd like us to show or describe, leave them in the comments and we'll make sure that we hit all of those when we do the tour on Monday.
That's it.
Have a great weekend. Bye. Have fun playing and learning with your kids, everybody. Bye-bye.